Scott's request wasn't new to me. How do I get salespeople to see the need to use our CRM system? I answered, you show its value through the use of a value-added output tied to relevant business results. There are hundreds of customer relationship manager or CRM systems available to companies, each having their unique perspective on the sales process. The struggle, though, is getting salespeople to use the CRM system well enough that the organization, sales managers, and salespeople benefit from the CRM system. A sampling of statistics reports that salespeople who use the CRM system can double or triple their sales quotas, yet sales leaders report that less than 30% of salespeople use the CRM system effectively. Welcome to Untapped Value, where we identify a value-added output in each video. Today's value-added output was developed with Scott, a sales consultant who performs a sales supervisor role with selected clients. His many years as a salesperson and sales leader allowed him to tell me why salespeople hate using CRMs while managers demand that they use them. The challenge for Scott was to prove that there truly was value to a salesperson using the CRM. The challenge for me was to ask the right questions that would lead to nothing less than a value-added output that both sales managers and their salespeople could agree on. Watch for these benefits as we uncover this value-added output. The salesperson, whom we'll call Jamal, not only has a reason to use the CRM, but he can also easily show how both he and the organization have benefited from his focus on the value-added output. The sales manager, Scott, will not only have the data he has wanted, but he won't have to nag to get that data. Since work only has value when it contributes to organizational improvement and success, we'll first identify Jamal's relevant business results. These are the results in which Jamal can see how his contribution has influenced a metric that senior leaders care about. While Jamal will influence relevant business results, he doesn't fully control them. This is especially important in a sales situation. Salespeople are often very independent. The CRM is not as helpful for singular salespeople as it is for increasing the success of a full team. In this example, we've chosen the relevant business results of win rates on deals and active opportunities. These results will be analyzed at the team level. Jamal will get a chance to highlight himself through the value-added output. A value-added output is something you produce, a service, physical product, event, document, or other countable output that is proven to influence relevant business results. Jamal will influence relevant business results by producing the value-added output of shared knowledge of customers. You'd be right to claim that this value-added output seems to benefit the company more than it does Jamal, which is probably a reason salespeople choose not to spend time in the CRM. But the most successful salespeople recognize that sales is now a team sport. The organization is very, very interested in every sale they can get. Thus, they collect data, create presentations, coach salespeople, and do all they can for success. Can they do that in a vacuum? No. Likewise, the salesperson is very, very interested in every sale they can get. The more resources the company makes available to them, the better. The better the resources, the more success they'll have with it and with the customer. But how can the organization provide excellent resources without knowing the customer? Finally, the sales manager is very, very interested in every sale they can get. If salespeople rarely communicate the details of their efforts to the sales manager, how can they get adequate coaching and support from the sales manager? The sales manager is in that position for a reason, to develop the best team of salespeople the world has ever known. So, by Jamal sharing his knowledge of customers with the organization and sales manager through the CRM, he supports company research of their customers, development of resources available for his success, and just-in-time coaching from Scott. The value-added output requires criteria to identify each time it is completed in a way that matters. So Scott and I next identified the criteria for the value-added output of shared knowledge of customers. These criteria should not be easy to achieve. They will help us differentiate the best salespeople from the mediocre and will encourage those needing improvement to get a little better each month until they become one of the best. You'll notice that the criteria also defines what elements of the CRM are most critical. After all, CRMs will always contain more elements than you will use. The criteria we created are: personal notes are entered for each customer conversation. Primary contacts and their contact information are kept current. Key points are summarized so the supervisor easily understands the customer's current situation. Scott and Jamal will use the CRM data to verify that these criteria are met. They'll also clarify whether they review that data weekly, daily, or at some other frequency. How did this value-added output benefit Scott, Jamal, and others? Jamal had more motivation to use the CRM because he had more clarity on how the CRM was useful to both him and the organization. Jamal added objective metrics to his performance evaluation. Jamal had the ability to see his improvement through those metrics. Rather than having a perception of improvement, he had metrics to show his improvement. And Jamal knew Scott was reviewing his information. Scott's coaching became more relevant to the situations. Scott didn't have to rely on memory to determine Jamal's value at annual appraisal time. He had metrics from this value-added output. Nor did he have to wait for that annual appraisal to know Jamal's value. He could see the data anytime. Scott had more information to identify opportunities to help Jamal improve his relevant business results and value-added outputs. And Scott had metrics to justify a one-time bonus to reward Jamal for his effort. And that bonus increased Jamal's engagement. If you're a sales manager, you might want to start meeting with your salespeople tomorrow to gain agreement with a value-added output such as this. I think you want that doubling or tripling of sales quotas I mentioned at the start of this video. If you're a salesperson, you might want to schedule a meeting with your sales manager tomorrow to gain agreement with a value-added output such as this. Then, when you and your manager determine through expectations how you'll use the CRM, you can use the metrics you and your manager agreed represent the value to get the recognition you deserve for your improvement. What's one of your value-added outputs? Since I believe everyone should know their value, I provide a limited number of complimentary value-added output discussions each week. You can ask me to help you develop one for yourself or for a job you manage. Go to the webpage shown on this screen to schedule that complimentary value-added output discussion. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you'll know when I've posted another value-added output to help release the untapped value in you and in your employees.